Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Crystallize Essentials module number one. My name's Scott Winden. I'm one of the BDMs based over in Sydney. We've got Ben Ayler, who's the product manager of Crystallize, based over in Perth. So just a quick little bit of housekeeping. Please, if there's any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat. And what we'll do is we'll circle back up at the end and address everyone's questions. So just before Ben jumps into the demonstration today, a little bit about us. So founded in 2015. So been in market now for over a decade. We're across all of Australia. So we've got offices in Perth, Sydney, and in Melbourne. And Crystallize really is the center of everything we do. So it's a comprehensive threat management system that also has a number of myriad of other features, one might say. So network detection all the way through to dark web monitoring, et cetera, et cetera. A little bit about us and some of our certifications and recognition. So we're ISO 27001 and 9001 certified. We actually do certifications for customers as well. We're also a member of Team Defence Australia, and we're part of the Cyber Threat Alliance. So what does that mean? Effectively, what that means is that we provide the government with any sort of detection, any sort of threat we've detected. And we're one of only two in Asia Pacific who's part of the Cyber Threat Alliance. And on any given month, we're probably number one or two in the number of threats that we do pump up to the government. So really involved heavily in protecting Australia. And another really interesting part about our offering is our SOC as a service. So our SOC is based over in Perth. So from a data sovereignty point of view, we're all covered off there, which is fantastic. And this is a 24/7 SOC that follows the sun. So we're always on, always detecting threats and always protecting. And with that, I'll throw over to Ben.
Thanks very much, Scott. Yeah, the SOC of the service is one of our sort of more exciting ones. The days we've been taking data and just basically shoving it into a SIEM, and we've been doing that for decades, and it has been working properly for decades. And so this is what's sort of given rise to SOC as a service. All right, thanks for all the housekeeping and everything, and let's get into it now. To start with, we will need to have an Orchestrate account set up. So this can be set up by going to store.redpiranha.net, store.redpiranha.net/dashboard/login, and you can get registered there. And hopefully be able to get it up and running in time for us for when we do our exercises later in this course. We've also got a forum account. So we do have a forum, and you do need to register an account. The downside is it might take a little while for that registration to come through. So if you haven't done it, please try and get it done now. And if you're lucky, we might be able to get it all verified and registered by the time we need to access the forums for a bit of an exercise. Okay, so why are we here today? This is a part of the Crystallize Essentials course. Now, it's divided into two parts, Module 1 and Module 2. Module 1 is going to introduce you to the systems that all partners, end users, and so on, everyone who interacts with Red Piranha will need to have access to Orchestrate in order to effectively use the Crystallize ecosystem. Now, step 2, we're going to be taking you, part 2 or Module 2, we're going to take you through the first run wizard and registration process for a Crystallize appliance. And we'll also include some short exercises on how to use some of the key features of Crystallize. So that'll be happening next week, and be sure to join us for that one, because we've also got some updates with 5.5, which is we're going to be demonstrating some of those features next week. So be sure to register for that. Now, Crystallize Essentials should take about 2 to 3 hours complete in total. It's Module 1 and 2. And after that, once you've completed that, you can go on and do your Crystallize Certified Engineer certificate. And that's going to include a range of more intensive series of deep dives into certain functions. So this could take around a day to complete, and we're going to try and break it down into smaller modules as we go. All right. Now, about this course, what are we going to be covering in this session? So we'll start off by understanding the product range. We'll look at the ways that it can be deployed. We'll go on a tour through Orchestrate, so we'll look at things like account management, the solutions offered by Red Piranha, how to order from Red Piranha, accessing training, and managing incidents. We'll also talk about some more information or some tips about Crystallize, the appliance itself. We'll look at how we get supported, and I'll also explain the beta program. So we've got an internal beta testing program. We are going to be expanding it out to the greater public, and I'll explain a little more about that towards the end of the session. Then we'll talk about next steps we can do after Crystal Essentials Module 1, and then, of course, we'll be fielding your questions. So understanding the product range. As you can see, we've got Crystal appliances now. These are the hardware ones, but we've got them for pretty much any application you need. So as you can see, we start the Crystal Series 10. That can handle up to 50 devices, and it does 100 megabits per second in true security throughput, all the way up to the Series 80. Now, these are the systems that we have already predetermined as far as the configuration and everything goes. And these we can usually build and supply within about 3 to 4 weeks. There's the Crystal Series 100 and the Series 200. These are custom built models to your specifications. So if you've got like a really large deployment that really needs to have like very unique traffic looked after, that's what the Series 100 and 200 are for. You'll also notice down the bottom, we've got the Crystal SE101. SE stands for Secure Edge. And this is, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner there, it is essentially a card. Now it's actually a server on a card, 16 cores, 256 gig of RAM, 256 gig of storage and 16 gig of RAM. And that essentially has the same performance stats that you'd see in a Series 50, but all jammed down into a card, which is kind of cool. Now, we've also got virtual appliances. So we have a network of POPs or points of presence where we can stand up a Secure Edge 100.20, .30 or .50. These are basically running the same performance stats as you've seen in the previous table there. So the 20 is for 100 devices and 275 megabits per second TST. The 30, that is 150 devices or 880 megabits TST, and the 50, a big one, 300 devices, 1.4 gig TST. Now, TST stands for True Security Throughput, and that is how we measure performance when we've got everything turned on. So, you know, that's your IDPS, your secure web gateway, your firewall, all the features turned on, because we believe that's how we should be measuring things, not just sort of, you know, getting the ports and the speeds and banging them together and calling that the throughput with no filtering on. That's kind of cheating in my book. All right, we'll go a little further into understanding the product range. This is where we get hands-on. So if you can just open up a web browser, and no need to log in, you can go straight to the web browser, and we should be able to track down the speed and placement guide. Now, I'll just jump to the next slide, and you'll find it by going to Products, Crystal XDR On-Premise. You click on that page, and you'll see underneath it there, you've got the Crystal appliances are custom built, yada, 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 and that red button there, Speed and Placement Guide. It is a PDF that you should be able to quickly browse and see what we can do with our Crystal appliances. You can also take a deeper dive into individual products themselves and find a spec sheet. So again, browsing your Crystal XDR appliances, you should be able to scroll up and down, have a look at the appliances there, and get a spec sheet which you can quite easily just see the components, features that it's offering, and also some of the more technical specifications that you might need to consider when purchasing and installing a Crystal appliance. Okay, let's go over to Orchestrate. So that is store.redpiranha.net/dashboard. And we'll do a quick demo or walkthrough of setting up some accounts. The scenario is we've got our MSP. Her name is Emma Espy, and she's the director of the Test MSP Co. I know, not very imaginative. We've also got a staff member called Encino, who we also call him N, and his surname is Jania. Hope you're getting these dad jokes I'm throwing out here. We've also got Carl Stummer, who's the CEO of the Test Customer Company. All right, there you go, all dad jokes out of the way. So what we're going to do, we're going to set up an MSP account. We're going to set up a staff account, get that client account going. We're going to add that external staff account. So this is where the client is linking to the MSP and giving the MSP permissions to actually act on their behalf and assign roles. This is in line with what we understand to be good good practices with account management. So things like least privilege, role-based access, and just straight up digital hygiene, not sharing credentials in order to get work done. We should allow that to work. And we're actually extending that with some upgrades coming soon, where we are going to be able to assign an engineer or an MSP the ability to register a Crystal appliance on behalf of a customer. So we're getting around that problem we had before, where we needed to share credentials in order to link a Crystal appliance to Orchestrate. Enough about that, let's move on. So setting up a main account, I hope you'll have already done it. You go and click on add a new account, you fill in the forms, and you've got your channel partner agreement, which you need to understand and read. And this sort of lays out the relationship between Red Piranha and whoever's holding the account. So whether they are a partner or an end user, this is quite important. Now, setting up the staff account, dead easy. So you've actually logged in with your main account as the MSP, and you can start adding staff members. This allows you to then assign roles and privileges to those staff members. So let's see, we've got engineers received his email to say, here you go, new account, set your password up. All right, and right now, this is Encino's view, and he is looking at, it's just training. This is because he has not had any roles assigned. So as you can see, we can edit his roles. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so as you can see, you can edit the roles assigned to to engineer, and we can give them billing authority, make them a technical manager, security manager, training, and there are more roles coming as we expand out the system. But you can give them sort of granular access to the MSP account. All right, now let's get a client. So we can add a client. So you see in the top right-hand corner there, a little blue button that says Add Client. When you're adding the client, you just put in their name and email address, and it's been sent. And the client receives an email saying, "Hey, someone has added you to Orchestrate as a client. Click here to complete your registration." In which case you do. You fill in the forms, and you get your agreements and everything. The account has been created. All right, and then the MSP receives a notification that the client account has been set up, and then we start making that link between the MSP and the customer. Again, emails, clicking links, and we do our partner account association. So this is the test MSP company. So this is going to the end user. So this is going to the customer company, saying you're going to accept a link to have those two accounts linked up. So we'll recognize that the customer account is a part of the MSP's business. So this works two ways. It makes sure that that relationship is clear, and we can respect that relationship. So that way we can do a commission structure and everything to sort of recognize that relationship between the MSP and the end user. It also means that we can properly license, and all those legal agreements are in place, because at the end of the day, when you're using Red Piranha products and services to protect an end user, that agreement is between, when it comes to when things get really serious, like in the case of a breach, you want to have that relationship between Red Piranha and the end user crystal clear. We've seen people try to attempt to do this like an MSP is sort of like a middleman, and the legal structure is just not clear cut in that way. So if things do go wrong, the MSP can quite often get caught up in it. And we want to avoid that by making sure that this is all very clear. All right, account is confirmed. Now, looking at the client's account, the client can now add external team members. External team members are people who are not inside the organization of the customer, but are authorized people. So this would be, in this case, the MSPs. So instead of internal staff, they'd be doing external team members. We add our external team member. The external team member in this case is Emma, again, Emma SP. So that main account is linked. There we go. And now, when Emma logs in, she has a choice to either administer her own account, or she can log in under the test customer account using her credentials. We're not sharing credentials, best practices. Now, I've already mentioned licenses. Again, very important. I've explained why we need to have these licenses set up. So when you're registering an appliance, this is also very important. When you register the appliance, you register it under the entity that's being protected. So if an appliance is being installed at an end user's location, it's registered to the end user, not the MSP, for the reasons I've explained. All right. Now, time for a bit of a walkthrough through Orchestrate. If you've already got it open, feel free to play along at home. I am going to switch over and display my screen. So we'll be looking at my licenses, deployments, subscriptions, incident response forms, and order history. This is all under my solutions. I will share a screen. It will be, yeah, we'll do that one. Sorry, multiple screens. Okay. All right, so here we go, got to this. So we've got, under solutions, we've got our licenses. All right, so as you can see, we've got our licenses, start dates and expiration dates, and you will also look at your expired licenses here. Your deployments, this is where you manage your Crystal Eye appliances, like a whole fleet of them. So as you can see, click on this and you can see all of the active and visible Crystal Eye appliances. Now let's dive in and have a look at one of them. Let's see, DAS demo should be pretty good. Let's go log into that one. So quickly view this. So this panel will give us a quick overview of what's happening. Now this is the current one. We've actually got some new updates coming. And I'll just quickly demonstrate that because it includes something cool. So this is probably going to be released by the time this is done and dusted and the recording is up. So we've got the ability to enable remote support for Crystal Eye appliances from Orchestrate. Now, it's very important to note that this is not instant. This is a part of the way we've designed it. We don't want to have Crystal Eye appliances out there just listening for any sort of input. They've actually got to go out and poll for an update. So for this reason, it may take up to 24 hours for a remote support request to be enabled on a Crystal Eye appliance for it to actually take hold. Most often it'll be quicker, but we just like to let people know that there is a chance that it could take up to 24 hours. It's not a guarantee though. So to enable it, you just simply click on enable support. It'll go and do its thing. If there's any problems, you'll receive an email to say we, for whatever reason, enables the request was not successfully processed, in which case you just try again, because it could just be a temporary communications issue. Or otherwise, if it happens a couple of times, then you get in touch with support simply by emailing support@redpiranha.net. I'm going to be mentioning that email address a few times. Okay, so let's pop back. So looking at the My Deployments page, and we're looking at a particular device, we can see things like the application status. Very important to monitor the status of the various applications and functions on your Crystal Eye appliance, because if something stops working, you'll want to know. So say in this case, if we had Web Filter installed, configured and running, and if it was showing up red, we'd know we need to go and have a look at it and see what's up. So it could be something simple as like simply a hung process. You just start it and you're good to go. Otherwise, again, support@redpiranha.net. Or check out the docs. We've also got our schedules. Now, schedules is where we keep things like completed vulnerability scans and so on. I can probably show us. I'll have to switch to a different account to do that. But yeah, this is where your vulnerability scans show, and also your packet capture scans show up. CPU usage, we're going to be updating that soon as well. So CPU usage and RAM usage will be displayed here. Okay, we've also, I'll demonstrate this one as well. We've also got, there's our schedules there. There you go, you can view your report, big PDF file. And then we've got our security operations. So this is where we have feedback and updates from our SecOps team, and also anything related to like a particular SecOps function. So things like a vulnerability scan has been scheduled, and so on. All right. So managed deployed appliances, application status we've covered, resource usage we've done, schedules we've done, SecOps operations, great, done. Oh, that's right. We've also got these tabs along the top. So you'll notice we've got the general one. We've also got eCISO. So eCISO, this is our electronic Chief Information Security Officer. So instead of spending, I don't know, about $200,000 a year on a dedicated CISO with all the associated costs and budgets that go along with it, for about $10,000 a year, you can get your own eCISO program with a risk manager and monthly meetings with stakeholders. And they will actually step you through the process of becoming more secure. Now, cybersecurity is not a one and done thing. It's not like you put a box in and that's it, you're secure. It's a constant journey because the threats are evolving. You've got to evolve with the threats as well. So the idea is with eCISO, for about $10,000 a year, you can prevent that 1 in 100 event that would result in $1 million breach. So just on the finances alone, it's well worth it. And that's one of our subscription services that we can offer. And there's also the compliance tab. This is another feature we're building out. Asset management is tricky. It is difficult, and we've got some more features coming. So we're starting to build it out now for 5.5, and then towards the end of this year, we're hoping to be releasing Crystal Eye OS version 6, which will then really deliver on some good asset management tools and techniques. All right, on to subscriptions. So subscriptions is where we manage our ongoing subscriptions and billing, just as it says, and it's pretty straightforward. Incident response form. Okay. This is that page where, if in case of emergency, break glass, this is, when it hits the fan, this is where you go. You go and fill in an incident response form. So you put in the details and send it off, and it goes to the appropriate team, be they SecOps or compliance or risk management. So it's quite comprehensive. And what this means is that we are leveraging that agreement we've had put in place when we first set up, that we have like certain number of response hours and so on. And it just means that we're not waiting around to define our scope of works or SLAs or any sort of access agreements while everything's on fire. You want to get that done beforehand, so when things do go sideways, the team is ready to spring into action. This form is the trigger to getting the team moving. So no waiting around, no messing around with contracts and so on. And of course, you've got your order history. And so, yeah, that's self-explanatory as well. So I'm just going to flip back to our presentation. Okay, so there we go. We've covered that. Next, ordering solutions. So again, we go back to sharing the screen. Select the right window. Okay. Now, again, this is like a beta of Orchestrate. Again, and this should be released by the time you're seeing this recording. But if you're seeing it live, you get to see a sort of peek behind the scenes to see how the sausage is made, so to speak. So ordering products. This is undergoing a redesign. One of the products that we can make available, hang on a sec. Yep, cool. I was expecting to see something else there, but it's not, but that's fine. So this is where you can order your Crystal Eye on-prem devices. You can also order Secure Edge. So this is the Secure Edge, the SE100.203050. I'll just quickly click on this just to give you an idea. So this is now self-service. So you can choose your location. Let's say we've got a presence in Singapore. It'll be a big one. Got our specification sheet you can download there. We've got deployment engineering support. So if you need help from our infrastructure or security teams to properly install and set up this virtual appliance, you can simply click the box, and this will alert our teams to let them know to start scheduling time for any work, and also they'll reach out to find out what you need. We can do our SIEM services, so you can have Silver, which is built in, or you can get your Platinum SIEM, which it means that there's a lot more monitoring. It also builds in response into the contract as well. The phone number, so if you're going to need to have a password sent to a separate channel, best practices. So we're not going to send it out in an email because everything else is going in an email. Password comes in an SMS. And then you choose your plan types. Well, it's already selected. It's a monthly subscription. And in this case, so it's a Series 50, USD 270442. And you can then add to cart or schedule deployment. Now, scheduled deployment is when you want to set a time for this virtual instance to be deployed, ready for you to use. So you can order like days, weeks, months ahead of time, schedule it for it to be deployed. In that meantime, you've got other work to do, but on that day, the appliance will be deployed. And auto renew, if this box is not ticked, your subscription will end after 12 months. If you leave it ticked, it will automatically renew every 12 months. Okay, so that's ordering products, ordering services. We've got a whole range of services that either require a Crystal Eye appliance or don't. So they are integrated services. These are services that do require a Crystal Eye appliance on site to actually deliver on these services. So things like backup, digital forensics, EC, incident response, threat hunting and PCAP services, and vulnerability scanning. And we've got our standalone services. And standalone services obviously are ones that we don't need a Crystal Eye appliance to deliver these services. So, consulting, digital forensics, incident response, it's all there. Now, the way that we deliver the integrated services and the standalone services, we use two different types of engagements. The integrated services is delivered with an SLA because it's all automated. The SLA is relatively easy to deploy, and it's quite simple and straightforward. Everything's clear. So integrated services, you order it, and away we go. The standalone services, they do require some scoping. So we have a scope of works as a part of that service, and that way we can be sure what needs to be delivered and everyone's happy. We can also order managed services, pretty much more of the same. So managed EDR is one of them. We do have more managed services coming your way, so always check back and see what's happening. You can also keep an eye on our newsletter. We do have a monthly newsletter that is sent out to people who have signed up to Orchestrate. And you'll be able to stay abreast of new developments every month. And of course, view my cart, very straightforward. This is an e-commerce platform at the end of the day. And it makes sense. We have a cart where you can see what you've ordered and work out what payments you've got outstanding and so on. Okay, that's the order solutions. There we go. Just circling back to the cybersecurity journey, this is in line with the ECSO proposition. So we understand that cybersecurity, as I've said before, is not like a one and done proposition. It is like constantly evolving. So, we start off with our policy management, awareness and education, which we're doing right now, identity access management, vulnerability management, security monitoring, incident response, and business continuity management and disaster recovery. Now, on the training part of things, we've got the ability to deliver training, which we're doing right now, but we also have cybersecurity awareness training as well, which is an excellent starting point for your organization. I mean, we've all got to start somewhere, so it's a good idea to get your staff, your clients, suppliers, get your supply chain all secure. Just make sure that you're starting to build that culture around cybersecurity, which is incredibly important. And if you know me, you know I'm big on culture, especially around cybersecurity. It's worked for occupational health and safety. There's no reason why it shouldn't work for cybersecurity. That's just my personal take. All right, back to sharing the screen. We go into our agreements. I mentioned the agreements. Very important we get these done at the start of the engagement instead of trying to get these finer points all worked out while everything's on fire. Refer and earn. So if you have a referral, so let's say you're running a particular business, not exactly related to cybersecurity, you don't want to get involved with it, but you have someone that needs access to cybersecurity, you recognize that there's a need, you make that referral to us, and we'll take them on as an end user, as a client, a direct client, or we might assign them to one of our partners, depending on how it's all situated. This does not go without reward. So we do have the ability for you to earn commissions on referrals, and you can track these commissions under your commissions page. Right. That's going to take a little while to update. There we go. Now, with ordering anything, it's smart to track your orders as they go. So yeah, this again comes back to our crystallized appliances. So the hardware appliances, these are built to order. So when we receive an order, we start building them. And the reason why is that we don't have technology that was designed 5, 7, 10 years ago and have it sitting on a shelf just ready to ship out in a box. We believe that that's really not doing a good service to our customers. There is new technology out there. We are actually using the latest technology. I've actually got an assembly center here in Perth, and we have sitting on the shelves right now Gen 14 Intel hardware, which is powering our Crystal appliances. So you will get access to the most powerful hardware available on the market at the time. And this means that you've got like a huge hardware overhead for future applications as we roll them out. Now on the training, again, I mentioned training, very important, building that cybersecurity culture. We start with cybersecurity awareness training. You can also access your Crystal Essentials Module 1 and Module 2 here. And you've also got your Crystal Certified Engineer, so CECE, you may see it. And it's all divided up there. And you can start enrolling other people so they can undertake that training as well. And right down the bottom, we've got the incident reports. So when you log an incident, you've got that form that we've explored before, but you need to be able to track these incidents as they progress. So you'll get updates on open incidents, and you should be able to follow them through to resolution. Now, you can also lodge an incident from this form as well, from this page as well. Okay, jumping back, presentation deck. Love how it asks me if I'm sure I want to do that. All right, so we've done the walkthrough through agreements, refer and earn, order tracking, training, tracking incident reports, done. Okay, Crystal appliances. They can be deployed in a number of ways. They're like really, really flexible. So there's 3 main ways that they can be deployed. We can deploy them inline inline gateway mode. This is the simplest. It goes at the perimeter of your protected network, and it is ideal for like not only monitoring but also filtering. So it's a good protection setup. Inline NSM. So this allows you to sort of put it in line with another firewall, and you can start turning features on and off as needed. So we've actually had customers use this where they've gone from this one, out of band NSM, just for monitoring. So that's a 3rd one, but they've started to move the Crystal inline, and they're just gradually sort of pulling out features from the old firewall and assigning that work to the Crystal appliance. So you don't necessarily need to do like a greenfield installation. It's quite easy to just do like a gradual rollout of Crystal technology. And then the 3rd one is the out-of-band network security monitoring. So it doesn't manipulate any of the traffic, doesn't do any filtering. It's just simply there to watch. Okay, Crystal information and tips, just some other little random tips towards the end of our module. So build to order, we've covered that. Software updates. Our software updates are rolled out every month. So this is when we do small updates to the system, updates to the applications, and also to the end end clients that go onto like Windows workstations, for example. So this is where we do all those small incremental updates. We've taken like a leaf out of the page of your mobile phone industry, where you've got your smartphones, the applications update on a regular basis. So that's monthly. We do have out-of-band updates or hot fixes. These are for high severity or critical severity bug fixes that need to be looked at. So we are very proactive in that respect. Then we've also got the big one, the big field upgrades or the big system upgrades. This is when we are doing shifts from major versions. So for example, right now we've got some people still on version 4.5, and then we've got a bulk of everyone on version 5.0, and we're rolling out 5.5 in the next week or two. And with that, it comes like a big change in the way it works. Actually, I can quickly show us. There we go. All right. I'll just give us a quick demonstration on how it looks. I'll share another screen. Entire screen. Because I think this is one of the cooler parts of Crystal Eye. It's long been one of those sort of, as a former MSP myself, or a network guy myself, it has been one of those really unnerving times that you lose sleep over. I've got to upgrade the software on a whatever. Now that has been alleviated with Crystal Eye in our software updates. So this will show us the monthly updates, but also it'll show us the big system upgrades as well. So on this one, we've got all of our software up to date with the more recent updates we've seen here. But then when it comes to the system software, you don't see the old one, but it would have like 5.0, and the status would be available, like not running, and then you got your action as to set default. So it is really like a multi-boot system. You're not replacing the firmware from one system to another with no means of rolling back. So if you need to, you can roll back quite easily. It's a push of a button, it restarts, and it's done within, say, 10, 15 minutes. The actual outage time is actually, we've managed to get that down to around about a minute or less, which for a firmware upgrade is astounding. All right. Oh, I'm also giving you guys another sneak peek. We've got some more fun stuff coming. You should see this in Crystal Essentials Module 2. We've got a large language model built into the user interface, which is kind of cool. So you should be able to ask, how do I do a certain thing? It'll come back and say, oh, this is how you do it. Pretty cool. All right. Sorry, back again to presentation. Apologies for jumping backwards and forwards. All right. So software updates taken care of. First run wizard registration. When you get a Crystal Eye appliance, you will need to do the first run wizard, of course, but it'll also need to be linked to Orchestrate. This is critical for like your software updates, feeding threat telemetry or attack telemetry back to our security operations center, in which case this is when you need your Orchestrate username and password to register the appliance to Orchestrate. Power requirements. As a part of our terms of service and EULA, it is written in there in plain black and white that you should be feeding it clean, reliable power, just like with any other critical part of your network. It should be on a UPS. Shutting down and restarting your appliance. Please don't yank the power out of the back of the system. Be kind when you're powering down or restarting if you need to, which is hardly ever. The reason being is that the Crystal Eye is a complex appliance. It has a bunch of databases running in the background, and if you were to yank the cable, yank the power out of it during a write or a commit, we all know how that works out. And when databases don't get closed down gracefully, you wind up with a mess. And then you have to contact support at support@redpiranha.net. LAN 1 versus your management port. Yes, okay. We have a number of, I wonder if I've got it, there it is. Okay, so you've got the rear panel. This is a Series 10. You've got your WAN and LAN connection. If we were looking at Series 20 and up, we'd be looking like 2 WAN connections, and then up the top there where it says port 1 through to 4, that is your LAN connections. LAN 1 is typically left as your management port. The reason being is that it will always stay as crystalli.lan:81 or 10.10.11.81. If you change that and you do things like, if you get configurations or if something doesn't go right, then it makes life a bit difficult when it comes to trying to get back into the system to reconfigure it and fix it up. We recommend that when you're putting production networks on, you go to port 2 onwards. Obviously, with a Series 10, that's not going to be possible. So we do recommend that you run your networks as 10, like with your gateway as 10.10.1.1. Okay. NFR versus retail. We do have the ability to provide not for resale appliances to our partners and for people who are looking to test the systems and just make sure it's fit for purpose before deploying it into their organization. So NFR, the understanding is that it is not going into a production environment. It's actually not supported under an NFR license. If it's going into a production environment, you must be using a retail license. That's just the way the support goes. Okay, and then there's our technical note. These are the only ports you need to plug in. You just need power, WAN, and LAN. No need to grab a keyboard, mouse, and monitor and plug it into the appliance. That's not how it works. All you control is through a web browser. So that's crystalli.lan:81 or 10.10.11.81, port 81. Okay, let's have a quick activity. So we've still got a bit of time, I think, haven't we? Yeah. All right, so activity. Using the speed and placement guide, select the right Crystalli appliance for head office of 230 users needing an on-premise security solution for their 1 gigabit internet connection. So I'm going to share my screen once again, just for those that haven't managed to track down the speed and placement guide. There we go. So that was 230 users and 1 gig connection. Okay, looking at our speed and placement guide. Whole lot of information to start with. We've got our overview, choosing the right base model, small to medium business solutions. Okay, it doesn't say anything about speed or capacity, but it does give you an idea on the hardware that goes into it. And then we start looking at our large business solutions, specialist custom solutions. Here we go. Speed and placement guide, Crystalli throughput metrics. So let's go back. We've got 230 users. So here we go. So the Series 60 will handle up to 250 users for telecommunications and telecommunications class environments, high performance enterprise. Great. And 1 gigabit per second. So this one here, the Series 50 is 1.4 gigabits per second. They only have 150 users. If we're looking at 230 users, then we'll need to look at the Series 60. So as you can see, the application might not be clear cut. So this is why we've done this chart to help you work out things like with the simple demands, like the number of seats that you've got to protect, or the number of devices you've got to protect, and the throughput that needs to be supported. Now, again, we're looking at true security throughput. This is that final. I'll see if I can highlight it also. Nope. So one true security throughput. I will highlight the Series 60, 2.5 gigabits per second under heavy user load. All right. Not the 1.4, because we've still got to service more than 150 users. But that's it there. True security throughput, that's when we've got all the things turned on. Okay, now I've got to thought this through and put this PDF up instead of having to jump between the presentation deck and this, but that's fine. We'll push on. Right, next one. We've got a branch office of 12 staff using high bandwidth applications supported by their 500 megabits per second internet connection. So 12 users, 500 gig. Okay, jumping back to our speed guide. We have 12 users. Let's start with the bandwidth first. So 500 gigabits per second. All right, well, it's not Series 10, not the Series 20, it's 275. The Series 25, that's where we have our first tick. And how many users? Up to 75 users. So if we'd just gone by users and said, oh, look, no problems, we can take care of that with a Series 10 because that supports up to 25 users. You have problems because with all of the security turned on, which is eventually where you're going to be going anyway, you'll have the Crystal appliance being a bottleneck. So this is the way we avoid having security become a problem or a bottleneck.
Yeah, just with some of these, I guess, smaller offerings that we have, we actually have a bundled offering. So Ben touched on some of the services earlier, eSISO in particular, but for some of these up to 150 device, or sorry, 150 users, we can actually do a bundled offering so that you get your appliance, you get your eSISO, and you get 3 or 4 other, all the subscriptions, all the NDR, all for the one low price. So that's just
Yeah,
for our sort of small medium offering. All these services and the right appliances all bundled up.
yeah. So that's a Crystal 360,
Correct.
and yeah, that was originally designed to be like a Crystal Eye on a subscription. So we understand that a lot of small businesses can't just sort of put their hands in their pocket and peel off a few $1,000s on infrastructure just to put it in and then hope it works. We've managed to sort of spread out the cost over a period of time, and then we've included the CISO package. So you could think of it as like a personal trainer for your cybersecurity. So regular meetings, regular things to do, and it will actually improve your cybersecurity standing for your entire organization. Very well, actually. We've had some great results with that.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a little. Have you?
Also include. Oh, sorry, mate. Also includes access to our socket and also a SIEM offering as well. Sorry,
That's
mate.
right. That's right. We've actually got a nice little story about it. I'm not too sure if you were aware of this one or not, Scott, but we had 2 organizations, both using both using 360, and they were like the same size, same industry vertical, and they were both attacked using the same sort of phishing campaign. And the one that actually followed all of the directions from our team, they got away with maybe a couple of $1,000s in expenses and after action reports and so on, and recovery. And they actually weren't impacted severely and they kept operating, which is most important.
Mm.
The other one, they were on the plan, but they didn't follow the instructions. They just said, oh, yeah, we'll just turn up for meetings and yeah, okay, fine, whatever, we'll just go on with work and not do anything. They were actually completely rinsed. So we're talking, I think it was at the end of the day, it was like 300,000 pounds sterling.
Right.
And they were also out of action for a couple of weeks as well. So that would have really hurt. So there you go. Crystal Eye 360 actually works. We've got the receipts to prove it. Right. So we've done the activity. We've done our series selection. Support services. So getting help. It's actually pretty easy. We recognise that sometimes it's not intuitive. Sometimes you need a little help. So we've got our email. So this is when you're having problems with either a product or a service from Red Piranha, and you haven't managed to work out a solution either by going to our manual, which is docs.redpiranha.net, or the forum, which is forum.redpiranha.net. As you just need help, you can reach out to our team of humans who are happy to help, and you can email them support@redpiranha.net. We've also got the ability for you to make feature requests. We allow people to contribute to our technology. So if you see a way that Crystal Eye or one of the Red Piranha services can be improved and bring better value to you, just feel free to drop a request into the forum thread, and we'll certainly look at it and see if it needs to be added, or we'll provide an explanation or probably direct you to a document where it actually already exists. Okay. Activity, a bit of a forum. So if you've managed to get access to the forum, if you've got an account, there's a little activity we can try right now. So you can go to forum.redpiranha.net. Hopefully you've created an account. Go to Crystal Eye Essentials Module 1 exercise topic and just drop a like on it. Nice and easy. And then just post anything to the testing and training category. So let's go there. There we go. I'll take us through it. So if you're playing along at home, excellent. If not, this is how we do it. It'd be really cool if I could see the likes popping up as we are doing this right now. Okay. So you've got your forum here. So you'll get notifications in our roadmap, security advisories. The community support is actually really, really active. So this is where we post things like our release notes and software updates. We've got threat templates. So this is where we're going to start building out more of the threat templates. You should be seeing more of this in Crystal Essentials Part 2. Sorry, Crystal Essentials Module 2. So watch for that. We've got known issues, bug reports, and so on, feedback, training, and then testing and training. Here we go. So feel free to jump into testing and training here. Module 1 exercise. Now, yeah, ignore the date, but just go in there, pop a like on it. There you go, just by clicking that. Alrighty. And you should be able to go back to testing and training. And it'd be great if someone could just post something to the testing and training topic. Okay. Back to the presentation. Okay, so hopefully we've done that. I saw the views jump up just then. That's good. Get some likes on it. Get that dopamine rush. Okay, next steps. You can get an NFR appliance. So just to clarify, NFR not for production, and also it's offered at a discount rate as well. So you're not paying full retail, obviously, because you're not getting the full retail experience due to the license. So we're willing to take a hit on that. Crystal Essentials Module 2, that's coming up next week. So there we go. The notes are in chat, but it is, what was it, 5th of June. So that'll be me and Samir. And then we've got our knowledge sprints. Now, knowledge sprints are like short live sessions, which are then reposted to YouTube. And the next one coming up is scenario-based threat hunting. So we'll be looking at ways that you can detect lateral movement, internal reconnaissance, data exfiltration, and anomalous network behavior using the Crystallize suite of tools. We've also got selling XDR. So your sales team, if they need to know the unique selling propositions for Crystallize and Red Piranha products and services, that's the course to take. We've also got our Crystallize Certified Engineer. That is coming up soon. So keep an eye out for that. So this will be released when we have Crystallize 5.5 released and we've got the training program all sorted out. It'll be coming out. And for more training videos and more content like this, you can go to Red Piranha Sec on YouTube. And of course, follow us on socials. Now, this is the part where you're welcome to post any questions that you have. And usually, it's not too quiet. Let's see. No, I haven't seen any posts apart from our host, OJ, who's been working in the background there, posting up all these links and as I'm mentioning them. So thanks very much for that, OJ. So if we don't have any questions, I thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to catching up with you next week. And I'll just play this video out and we are done. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.